In a previous video, we've written two tests, one for inserting books, the other one for creating books, both of which methods are basically written within the model class, which books class extends. In this video, we are going to create tests for update and remove book. So public function can update book, and it's going to be a test. And we start with book equals this add book, and again title we want to be room with a window, and let's verify that this record actually has this title. So this assert equals room with a window, and then book title, and then we're gonna go book was not added before the update, and we're going to add this before the update so that we know exactly which method it refers. Although if there is an error, obviously if the test fails, it's going to tell us which method anyway. Okay, so now we have this book instance. What I want to do next is update book, for instance, variable, and what I'm going to do is run book instance and then update method on it. And I want to change the title this time to new title. And the ID of the record is simply taken from this book ID property. So basically we're updating this record which we added earlier. And let's put it on new lines so it reads a little bit better. And then we're going to check this assert equals, and we go for new title, update book title, and then the message book was not updated. And perhaps rather than update, let's change this to updated. Updated book reads a little bit better as well. Okay, so first of all, we creating a book. Obviously this method will return instance of the book, so we can check if the title of this new record matches what we've set it as. Then we updating the same record by passing the ID to the update method, and we want the title to be new title rather than this room with a window, which was what we've set originally. And this updated book will now store the instance of this new record, because update method, if we click on this, you can see it returns the new instance of the model, which is actually, this shouldn't be mixed, it should be model, because that's what it returns. This find method will return the model based on what class actually extends this model. In our case, it's going to be book. So save this one as well. So this is obviously going to again be instance of the book after the book record has been updated. So the new model with this updated values, and now we're checking if the title matches this new title. So if we save it and try and run the test, and we've got 3 tests, 5 assertions, all of them passing. So we definitely can update the book record and it will work just fine. Okay, so update, we've got covered. Now it's time to test the removal of the records. So public function can remove book. And again, it's a test, so test tag. And we're gonna go for book equals this add book. I'm not bothered with any data now. Faker can just generate some random data for the record, and then books. This book, all records, and first of all I'm going to check that there's only one record in the table, so assert count, and we're expecting just one, so 1, and then we're passing through array of records, which is this books variable, and then we're going to pass the message number of books does not match 1. So let's quickly test it. We have 3 tests, 5 assertions. Now we should have 4 tests, 6 assertions, and they are all passing, so we're all good. Back to our test. Let's now do book delete, and the ID of the record is going to be simply our book ID. We can either do it this way, or we can just run this book delete, but we've got this book, it's already an instance of the model anyway. So okay, so now we've removed this record. Now if we go for books again, overwriting the previous books variable, this book all records. This time this assert count should be 0 and passing books again, which is array obviously, and number of books does not match 0. So that's 2 assertions within one test again. Back to the terminal, let's run a test, and we have 4 tests, 7 assertions, all of which pass. So we can insert, create, update, and remove records using the book class. So now I think what we can do is to create tests which are actually checking for returned collections of books. So the first one will be public function books collection is empty, and it's a test again. So we're going to start with books equals this book all, and because we haven't added any books, that should return null basic. So this assert empty rather than null, it just should return empty array books, and if it doesn't, books collection is not empty. So let's quickly test it, and there we go, 5 tests, 8 assertions, all passing, so that's all good. Let's now write another test checking if books collection is not empty. So public function books collection is not empty, and again it's a test. And please pause obviously this video if you find that I'm going a little bit too fast. I just don't want to bore you basically if you find it a little bit boring obviously writing all these tests, but yeah, just use the pause button if you feel that it's a little bit too fast. Okay, books collection is not empty, so this add book any data, I'm not bothered with this, then books equals this books, yes, books, we're testing books method now rather than books, it's going to be book instance. And then we go for this assert count 1 books, and if it's not, then we're going to say books count is incorrect. First one was basically using the all method. This time we are using the books method, which we've declared within the, if we open a book class, you may remember we've added this books method here. So books collection is not empty, and I'm going to actually do book and indicate what method I called books here. Count is incorrect, and for this one I'm going to do book all collection is let's do book all is not empty, or returned not empty, and count is incorrect. Okay, so that should be fine. Let's now test it as well. 6 tests, 9 assertions, all passing. So our books method works right. The other test we are going to do is try and see if actually these books, because these books, if we go back to this method, should order by title. We're going to check if it works, this order by. So public function books collection is ordered by title. Okay, test. So first of all, we're going to add a few books. So this add book, and let's add title. For the first one, it's going to be Game of Thrones. And let's duplicate this line. And the next title will be Another Day in Paradise. Okay. So we've got two books. I've added them in the descending order. So game, which should be after another, Day in Paradise obviously is before that one. So this one's going to have ID 1, this one's going to have ID 2. So if it wasn't sorted by title, that's the order we would receive them by. But by calling books method, we should have them in the ascending order of the title. So let's see if it's going to work. Books variable, this book, and then books method. So now this books contains the array of records. And we're going to, first of all, assert.count is 2 because we have 2 records, and we pass through our books array, and then we're going to pass the message book books count does not match 2. And let's actually test this straight away. So we've got this one, should be 7 tests, 10 assertions, and we have them all passing. Let's go back to the editor, and this time I'm going to do this assert equals, and I'm going to say another. Let's just copy this title because I've got tendency of misspelling things. So let's just paste it. That's what I'm expecting to be the first record. So books at index 0 because it's an array, the first record, and the title of it should equal to this title. So books 0, and I'm just going to actually do books at index 0, order is incorrect. So we can easily identify, actually missing comma here as well, we can easily identify which case it is. And then I'm going to copy this entire assert equals. This time I'm going to look for the second record, so index 1, and the name was Game of Thrones. Let's replace it, and it's index 1, order is incorrect. Let's save it and run a test again. We have 7 tests, 12 assertions, all of which are passing. So I think that's enough for this video. We've written tests for insertion, for creation, then for the update and removal, and then we've written all the necessary tests for this books method, which we've created in a previous video. I think we can now start looking at actually displaying, fetching the data from the books table and displaying them on the page, which is what we're going to do in the following video.